All right, I think I just need to hit the record button and let myself sort of speak because I am spending way too much time thinking about this and like mulling it over and recorrecting myself and stuff. But the history of Magic the Gathering has mostly been a competitive trading card game. That is to say, you'll throw together a stack of 60 cards and you'll play in your limited environment, in your modern, standard, legacy, vintage, all of that stuff, and you're playing against another person in order to try to win. And even in kitchen table pods of like 4 or 5 people, it was still, relatively, you're trying to play to optimize or win. Even if in more casual environments where I played at like the mall with friends back when I did that, it was still, while we were trying a little bit more to sort of do the engine thing, you're generally building a deck for a cohesive strategy and plan. However, Commander isn't quite the same. EDH as a format is something with its own entire sort of format philosophy that makes it so very different from the rest of Magic the Gathering and a little bit more like Dungeons and Dragons. You see, in Dungeons and Dragons, you're like building a character to move through a world, and yeah, you don't necessarily control the world or the rest of the characters, but you do get to control the story in a way. Like, I am in a game of D&D, I'm playing a character who has these stats and abilities and equipment, and I use all of them to tell my part of the story, and I think EDH is very, very similar to this. Your deck in Magic the Gathering is a stack of game pieces that you pile together to try to eke out a win. But in EDH, in Commander, your deck is a little bit more like a character sheet. You are the planeswalker here. You are the sort of all-powerful wizard or whatever it is that you are playing as, and your commander is sort of, your character. This would be your, what in D&D it'd be your race and class. If you would, when you pick out your commander, you're going, okay, I am elf wizard, and every elf wizard is going to be at its base level elf wizard. They all do the same thing. They all wizard and they all elf. But it is in your deck. It is in your unique stack of attributes, skills, feats, equipment, and even personal playstyle that all change, and your deck is your character sheet. You can be a Darigaz player and have Darigaz walls or Darigaz dragons or Darigaz, I think Darigaz has black, so maybe Darigaz zombies? I hope I'm remembering a correct character from Magic the Gathering. I started saying Darigaz. I actually have no idea if Darigaz is actually... I'm pretty sure Darigaz is a dragon. I'm almost 100% sure. But a good example here would be my 12 and Turlo deck. A lot of people build the 12th Doctor as like, I'm going to cast these spells that like, when the opponent's turn ends, they're gonna lose the game outright. I don't like that. That's not how my character would play. My character doesn't just snap people out of existence. That sounds awful. That doesn't sound like a very fun character to play in D&D. Instead, I'm going to play this really cool, like, this wizard who can do somewhat chaotic magic. My character, actually, the way that I imagine this deck as a character operates is he's like this wizard who reads minds or like reflects the magic of the world in some way. So like the primary cards in my deck are like Chaos Wand or Grimo Sauron's Footman or Dazzling Sphinx or Wand of Wonder, where I'm like start going through my opponent's decks to cast their spells. I'm using Grenzo to steal from the top of their library. I'm using Rakdos to steal from the top of their library. My Chaos Wand, when I'm in trouble, spins into a spell. This is very much so Davriel Kane from Children of the Nameless, where I have to adapt to the magic of the world around me. It's not because this is a hyper-optimized deck. It is because this is my character. This is my D&D character. And in particular with 12 and Turlo, I cannot play this character in D&D. This would be a ridiculous thing to let a player play in Dungeons and Dragons. Imagine if the character was like, oh, my class lets me take spells and breath weapons and shit from every enemy. Imagine trying to play this character in a video game where, like, I guess you get the magic from all of your opponents. I don't know. I think Final Fantasy VIII did that with the draw system. Oh, Blue Mages from Final Fantasy. Actually, great example. Oh, Kimari Ronso, the fucking Lancet ability. Okay, I'm going to stop that there. But my deck lets me do this thing that in most video games, in most role-playing games, in real life, you can't really do this thing. And it's cool, and it's exciting, and it's a character. I actually have grown somewhat emotionally attached to the partner pairing of the 12th Doctor and Whistler Turlo. So, like, where other people are like, I'm going to copy a bunch of spells and I'm going to swing with the 12th Doctor, I'm like, no, I'm going to fucking... You're going to look at me wrong, I'm going to crack Chaos Wand at you, and I'm going to cast your own spells into you, and I'm going to share a copy of your spell with you, because that shit's funny to me. You know, I'm going to crack Chaos Wand, and I'm going to cast your Kodama's Reach or something, and you're going to get a copy of Kodama's Reach as well, or it's going to be late game, and you're going to swing at me, or cast a spell at me, and I'm going to crack Chaos Wand at the control player in order to try to get that counter spell, so I can get that last minute thing. And this is the unique feature of Commander, of EDH. You know, it's, you have this character that, unlike in most Magic the Gathering, where I guess some players will have a story going on in their deck. It's like, ooh, I'm Bob the Necromancer, and I'm doing necromance. Romancing next. No, not that. I'm doing necromancy, and I'm like summoning the dead, sure, but like in EDH, it feels much more like a story, you know. There's a villain in every EDH game, almost, you know. You've got the one person who lied about the power level of their deck, and so now everybody's like, ooh, we gotta band together against the arch enemy. Or I'm playing my 12 and Turlo deck, and everybody's going, I have no fucking clue what you're doing, but it is very threatening right now. And you just got an Arcane Bombardment on board. We have to deal with you. And I go, yeah, you do. Also, I'm the Mad Wizard. Fucking crack Chaos Wand. Deal with me. Instead of thinking of Commander as like this highly competitive environment, I'm always seeing a story, and I'm always seeing that with other players as well. And I think that is probably the coolest and most valuable thing about Commander, is that Commander is not Magic the Gathering. It's Dungeons and Dragons.